Hello, welcome to 2.4 homework help. All right, here it is. Oh, okay. So the first 6, you are stating the y-intercept for each graph, and then you are matching the graph with its equation. Oop, I crossed that out. So there are your graphs, 1 through 6, and then the equations are right below. Okay, so number 1, let's just start with finding the y-intercept. So your y-intercept is where your graph crosses the y-axis. So this is the y-axis. Where does my graph cross the y-axis? Well, let's see, -1, -2, -5. All right. So then the y-intercept for this one would be x is 0, y is -5. Okay. Just moving right along. Where does this cross the y-axis? Well, it crosses it right here. That's at 1, 2, 3, 4. So the y-intercept on this one would be 0, 4. All right. Before I go any further on those, let's scroll down. So I'm looking for an equation with a y-intercept of -5. Okay. So remember, your y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So if I'm going to substitute 0 into these equations, this is going to be the one that gives me -5, right? Because this is going to be 0 squared is 0 plus 3 times 0, minus 5, which is just 0 plus 0 minus 5. So it's just -5, right? So that would be x is 0, y is -5. That matches. So your y-intercept is always going to be, let me get my highlighter. There it is. This is always going to be your y-intercept. Okay. So number 1 is C. All right, number 2, we're looking for a y-intercept of 4. So when x equals 0, y is 4. When x equals 0, y is 4. Go ahead and look for a second. Which one is it? When x is 0, y is 4. This one. Okay, if you substitute 0 in for x, you can always just substitute 0 in for x. But it's quicker, obviously, if you see the pattern. This is always going to be your y-intercept. Pay attention to the signs, whether it's positive or negative. Okay, so this would be 0 squared, which is 0, minus 4 times 0, which is just 0, so you're just left with 4. So number 2 is F. Let me see. Okay, I think you guys can handle. You guys got it. No, I'll do number 6 just because. All right, so y-intercept on number 6. Where does your graph cross the y-axis? Right there. So that's -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. All right, so this is x is 0, y is -7. All right, that's my y-intercept. Go ahead and find the equation. Which one of these equations matches that? Yeah, this one. Oh, I didn't grab my highlighter. So 6 would be D. B. Okay, you can also look at the other things we've been talking about with these graphs. So like this is just x, this is x squared, positive x squared, positive x squared. So they're going to be, and this one is also positive. So all of these are going to be going upwards. So like this one, number 6 is D, it's positive. It's going up. C, oh, and we did that one too. So C and F are also, see how they're positive because it's a positive x squared, or there's a positive term in front of the x squared. There's no negative in front of the x squared. On the other hand, 3, 4, and 5 are all facing down. that means there's a negative in front of the x squared when you look at your equation. Negative, 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 they're all facing down. They're all opening down because of that negative sign. This is just extra things. So we have 0.25, so that means that is going to be a wider graph. So that can help you look too, but really the only thing you need to know is the y-intercept. But I'm just saying, these are just noticing what we've learned so far. This is going to be a wider graph. This is going to be a wider graph. Oh, they're all going to be wider because they're all decimals. Okay. That's all for that. All right, 7 through 9. Fill in the missing constants so that each expression represents 5 perfect squares. Then state the dimensions of squares in each problem. I think we just need... Oh. Okay. Well, what you need to do here is... So we have five squares, right? So we're going to factor out that 5, which leaves us with x squared plus 30 divided by 5 is 6. And then let's complete the square for this last term. So how do we do that? We're going to divide our middle term by 2 and then square it. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then 3 squared is 9. Okay? So you could also write that 5 and then x plus 3 squared. Oh, squared. So then the number you put up here, though, it's not going to be 9. That's for 1 square. This is 1 square, but we're talking about 5 squares. So it's going to be 5 times 9, which is 45. Okay. Given the scrambled diagram below, write 2 equivalent equations for the area. Mr. Byrne did a couple of these in his video. So hopefully you guys can look back at that for reference. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll come back and do it. Determine if each expression below is a perfect square or not. Let me get rid of this. Okay. If it is not a perfect square, find the perfect square that seems closest to the given expression and show how the perfect square can be adjusted to be the given expression. So that's what we did at the end of the lesson, or that's what you did at the end of the lesson. Okay, so we have a of x equals x squared plus 10x plus 14. All right, so I'll do that off. So let's see, that's x. Can't find mine. There it is. X squared plus 10x. We're going to leave the 14 off for a second. So I'll put this in parentheses. Okay. And then I'll write it over here, plus 14. All right, so let's ignore the 14. Let's go ahead in here and complete the square using x squared plus 10x. So x squared plus 10, x squared plus 10x. So I'm going to divide this term by 2, and I'm going to square it. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Squared is 25. All right. Oop. Not make that happy, did I? Hold on. Okay, there we go. Back over here. Plus 14. Okay. But then we can't just, like Mr. Burns said, we can't just throw this 25 in, right? So we have to subtract it from over here. So that leaves you with, wow, this is really not cooperating today. Maybe just right now. Come back up here. Okay. You can make this into x plus 5 quantity squared, and then 14 minus 25 is negative 9. No, it's not. Negative 11. Okay, let me look. Okay, yeah. So that's how you would do that one. Let's do, I should have done 13. Oh well, I'll do 13 anyway. So now we have 3x squared plus 18x minus 12. So I'm going to go ahead and factor out my 3. Leaves me with x squared plus 18x divided by 3 is 6x. I mean, this is gonna, well, let's leave it. And then you have minus 12 out here. Okay, so let's go ahead and complete the square inside, which it's not gonna like me doing. So 6x, so 6 divided by 3, sorry, 6x, 6 divided by 2, which is 3, squared is 9, so it's plus 9. All right, so then, once again, we can't just throw this 9 in. So we have to go 3 times 9 is 18. So negative 12 minus. Wow, I can't do math right now. 3 times 9 is 27. Minus 27. Does everyone see how I'm getting that? All right, so I factored out, I put my negative 12 on the outside. Okay, so I was just dealing with the x squared, 3x squared plus 18x. I factored out a 3, which is how I got x squared plus 6x. And then I just completed the square inside my parentheses, so I'm ignoring everything out here. So I just did 6, divide that by 2, which is 3, and then square that, which is 9. All right. Why am I subtracting 27 out here? Because I can't just add this into my equation. You can't just throw things into a math equation. That's not how it works. You have to stay balanced. So 3 times 9 is 27. So really I've added 27 into my equation, which is why I need to subtract it out over here. Okay? Oh, I did it again. All right, so then you could write it 3. And you're going to have x. This is just when you divide this term by 2. So x plus 3. Quantity squared. Oh, I forgot that. There should be a quantity squared there. And then negative 12 minus 27 is negative 39. So that would be your answer there. Okay, the last thing on your homework, find the indicated function value. Okay, so they give you two different equations. They give you f of x equals 4x squared minus 3x minus 25, and g of x equals negative 2x squared plus x minus 5. Okay. So then make sure you're paying attention. Is it f? If it's f of some number, use this equation. If it's g of some number, use the g equation. All right, I'm going to do 18 because we really haven't had a lot of practice with that. So for 18, it's f of 0 plus g of 0. So you know me, one step at a time. So first, I'm going to find what f of 0 is. So let's go up here. F of 0 equals 4. We're just going to substitute 0 in for x. So that's going to be 0 squared minus 3 times 0 minus 25. All right. So then that is going to be f of 0 equals 0 squared is 0. Okay, 0 squared is 0. Minus 3 times 0 is also 0. So 0 minus 0 minus 25. So that's just negative 25. Or we talked about earlier, this last term is always going to be your y-intercept. So really, you could just say, oh, if x is equal to 0, then y is going to be negative 25, because this is always my y-intercept. The last term is always going to be your y-intercept. So anyway, so f of 0 is negative 25. So then, knowing that my last term is always going to be my y-intercept, I can look at my g equation. What is g of 0 going to be? Well, you can substitute 0 in for x, or you can just look at the equation and go, when x is 0, y is going to be negative 5. If I substitute in, it would be negative 2 times 0 squared, which is 0, plus 0 minus 5. All right, so g of 0 is negative 5. So I have negative 25 plus negative 5. A negative and another negative is going to be a bigger negative number, so that is negative 25 plus negative 5 is just negative 30. Okay, you could really rewrite this negative 25 minus 5 equals negative 30. You don't need the plus sign in between. All right, so that's on that one. I'll go ahead and do one more. Let's see if I can delete this. Oh, I can. Okay. Let's do g of negative 5. Let's do number 17. All right. So we'll do up here. Yeah. G of negative 5. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to substitute in my negative 5. So that's negative 2. Substitute in negative 5 quantity squared. And then plus negative, it would be plus negative 5. So I'm just going to write minus 5. And then rewrite your minus 5 again. Okay. Oh, this is a lot of negative signs. Oh my. Aha. So g of negative 5 equals, remember, do your parentheses first. Do your parentheses first. So negative 5 squared is positive 25. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Times negative 2, we're back to being a negative. Negative 50. So we dealt with that. And then minus 5, and then minus 5. Just rewrite it. So you have negative 50 minus 5 is negative 55, minus 5 is negative 60. So 17 is negative 60. Let me make sure I did that right. I did. Okay. All right, I'll go back up. Hopefully you try number 10 by yourself, but if so, here we go. I'll do it with you. All right. All right, so we have, these are our x squared, right? This is x, this is x. I guess I can label it. X. 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 Okay. And then these guys are x's, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these are my ones, so 1, 1, 1. Oh, my bad. 1 and 1. Okay, got everything labeled. So let's see. If I just write it out, then I'm going to have, this is an x squared and this is an x squared. So I have 2x squared. And then how many x's do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4x, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 5. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do to this what you did for 7 through 9. So we're going to get it as close as we can to a perfect square. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, I have 2 of them, and I know that. I'm going to go ahead and factor out my 2. That'll leave me with my x squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 2x. And then, once again, I'm going to throw my 5 onto the outside. So I just threw this onto the outside. We'll deal with him later. Let's complete the square inside the parentheses. So you're going to take your middle term, divide it by 2, and then square it. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So that's just plus 1. All right. But then we can't just throw this into our equation, so we have to subtract it from over here. But it's not just a 1. Remember, this is just 1 square. We have 2 of them. This is the equation for 1 square, but we have 2. So you have to multiply it by 2. So 2 times 1 is 2, so you have 5 minus 2, which is 3. So you could just write it 2, and then in parentheses, x plus 1. Remember, this is just your term. This is just your b term divided by 2. So x plus 1 minus squared. 5 minus 2 is 3. So plus 3. Okay. You should learn to write it this way. If you wrote it, it doesn't want me to let me. Hold on. There we go. No, not the whole thing. Just delete the 5. Like that. Not the end of the world. Those two are equivalent things. Okay, but really you should get good at writing it this way. All right. That's it. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Sweet! If you're watching this on Thanksgiving and you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. If you're watching this after Thanksgiving and you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're watching this and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, that's okay. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you on Monday. Peace.